Hey, witches!
Hi, witches. I was so off on the countdown. Sorry about that. Kat's leading tonight. Yes.
I am leading it. Welcome to part 2, because we couldn't get through it in one setting. Part 2 of numerology, the secret language of
letters. But I'm not sure if that's exactly how we named it, but it is the secret language of letters.
It is the secret language of letters.
Because you don't ever think about numerology and letters together.
You really don't.
No.
When you say numerology, you think of numbers.
No. But that's why we have our handy dandy chart here, which is just.
I'm going to show you full. Just hold on.
Well,
it's going to be fun.
One is cut off. Don't make my Virgo crazy, okay?
All right, I'm going to take it off then.
No.
Yes.
But
we're going to get started in a minute. I'm going to be doing a review of what we did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because we went through it really fast, and it'll be really helpful if we do a refresher, and that way anybody coming in can watch the whole thing and not have to watch 2 parts. So that's an advantage of doing it. So this is probably going to be long, which is okay.
You know what we should do? We should do a mic check really quick. Like,
oh yeah, can you guys
hear us? Are we actually live? We're still using new video streaming software that we're not 100% confident in.
Well, I'm not 100% confident in my
and Kat and her iPad skills.
Listen, I bought a new iPad and I don't know how to use it, and it's super.
But she hasn't practiced on it either.
Yeah,
So
I see messages, but like I can't see them. Where are they?
Your screen is small too, but. You know.
Okay, so
I saw him for a second.
Oh, yes, we can hear you. Thank you, Melissa. Hi, I want to be able to say hi, and I don't know how to get this. Yes, we can hear you, Melissa.
I know, your chat is so small.
I know, it really is. Good evening, Christine. I hope I'm saying your name correctly.
I can't see.
So
welcome all. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight for part 2. I know. I'm
okay.
I have a few people who have been waiting on this part 2 because we didn't realize we weren't going to get through like all of our letters. we're naive. Can you tell we're naive? We think we can do a lot in a short amount of time, and really, there's just so much that goes into it that it's like you'd be on here for 4 hours if we were going to explain it, because it's basically a book. You know, it's a book, which is a good time to reference right now that who we use, who I love, and she's no longer in print with this one. You have to find it used, but Shirley Lawrence, or Shirley Blackwell Lawrence, is the writer of the 2 books that I have been using since the early 2000s. But it's The Secret Science of Numerology, The Hidden Meaning of Numbers and Letters. This is the important part. She has another one. I'm going to get that. That's going to be one of our next lives in between the Grimoire series, but it is Exploring Numerology, Life by the Numbers. This one is fucking life-changing. I'll tell you what. When we go through this, and we should definitely try to break it up into 2 parts, don't you think?
When we do that one,
there is a whole chart that you will be filling out as we go, and I'm not kidding you. Like, I want to write this for all the people in my life, because I think that when you understand the letters of your name and what they mean for you, and you're like, oh my God, I'm not fucking crazy. I just have a P in my name. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Why is my life such a struggle? Because my name is Tennessee. But I have money.
Too many N's and S's. Oh my gosh. It's just so interesting how correct and on point these things are.
Yeah, how accurate.
I've been reading for people. So I learned about these books in the early 2000s. So like 23 years. And anybody that I know, I'm like, oh, let me do your numbers really quick. Let me do and I tell people about their names all the time. And it is the most fascinating thing to me, because when I see people's reactions with it, they're just like, holy shit, why does that make total sense? Like, nobody knows that your name could give you so much. And whether it's birth name, adopted name, you change your name, all of those come into play with like understanding who you are, choosing nicknames, all of it. I love it so much, you guys. So I've been wanting to do this for a long time and never really thought I could, probably because the topic is so big. So Kat was like, Jamie, you need to do this. And I said, okay, will you hold my hand while I do it? Because it's like a lot. And I know that it's going to be just on camera a lot. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, do people really want to see us talk for like an hour and 45 minutes?
We love
But-
hearing you talk. Are you kidding me? I love hearing her talk, and I love watching her work. I told her this. I'm in awe of her knowledge. But we do want to get started because this is going to be a long one. So I'm going to be
because
switching.
we're going to do a quick review.
Yeah, we're going to do a review, and then we have to get to the stuff that we didn't get to last
The
time.
new stuff.
So
yeah. Let's go over the letters. We already went through. It's not going to be as detailed as last time's.
I'm going to go ahead and let's switch our view so they can see the full.
We have new software. We get to do views of things.
Yeah,
it's very
we have
exciting.
cool view. So you're going to see just our.
I'm going to do this one first.
Big.
Then this one.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Then
So this is the numerology letter chart. And this is something that you can make yourself by just writing the numbers 1 through 9 across the top. And then starting filling out the alphabet A through I, J through R, S through Z. And you should have a chart that looks like this. And this is these have names. I don't have, the only one that I know for sure is HQZ is headquarters. These other ones have names.
Do you want me to write them in really quick?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, we can do that later. But these do have names.
Because the thing is around each grouping of 3 versus the 2 at the end, these have similar characteristics. They have similar meanings. So like say you have the J and the S and the A in your name. You have a lot of 1 energy, a lot of like starter. This is where the numerology mixes in with understanding the letters. But to combine those 2 together is like, it's so much that we wanted to give letters first. And then on our next 2 lives, we're going to go through all the numbers. And when you group them together, you'll be like, oh my God, there it is. There's the fucking magic behind it. But I won't write them in, but I'll say them really quick.
Go ahead. Yeah, if you want to say them.
This is as just. So as just, you can kind of see how that forms. This one is bucket, and it means bucket like you can fill it. A lot of these letters are about like what you put into them. This is get a clue. So this is also clue. It obviously spells that. It's awesome. But this lets you know like these are all open in certain areas where you understand things. DMV is about balance of 4 wheels. So you've got the 4. This is all about balancing. That's what those letters represent. This, we actually say new, so we switched that around. But 5 wants new experiences, new destinations, new travel. It needs new. This is all about experiences. 6 is the family. So think about the fox in the den. This is all about family. Sorry, mommy. 7 is gypsy. You can kind of see that there. Gypsies these are the mystical beings that just like float through from town to town. You never really know them. They're sort of the quiet ones. 7 is the letter that looks back over all the rest. So these letters are more the mystical letters. So if you have these letters in your name, mystic. 8 is headquarters. These are where this one is emotional and spiritual. This is lacking that. This is headquarters. These are all earth numbers. These are CEOs. That's why Kat wrote headquarters here. Then the 9s, these are our humanitarians, but this is, I know it says IR, but these are like I am. This is all about in your being, knowing who you are. What is your purpose? 9s and these letters cannot live fully if they don't know their purpose. So that's sort of the names of the groupings, you know, and we'll definitely go through that when we do the numerology part of this.
Okay, so last time we got, do you like my fancy pointer? It's a paintbrush.
Is it? Why is it? Oh my gosh,
Is it what?
I thought it was like too hot, like stuck together. So
I did too. I think we got through N last time, but
we did E. I don't think we got to N.
Okay, so I'm going to do a refresher from A to E.
A quick refresher.
A quick. You want me to be quick?
I mean, you know, just. Last time I think we spent about 10 minutes on each letter.
Yeah,
and
we
don't
won't
have to spend that much time.
We won't spend this one. Okay, so we're starting with the number A. The number A, breath of life. It's the shape of the nose. The fact that it's got feet planted on the ground, it's well balanced.
It's
you
stable.
can notice it's stable, stability, firmly planted on the ground feet. This is a lesson in self-control. Leadership, characteristics of it, leadership and character strength. And then on the shadow side, self-centered and only thinks of its self.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next in the 1, we're not going ABC like I did last time when I did my name. We're doing the 1s first, then the 2s, then 3s, then 4s, then 5s, and so on. So this will not be in alphabetical order. So next on 1 is the J, and this J is I'm going to show you. Right? Did I get it right?
Yeah. The finger
The
pointing
J,
as above,
the finger. If you hold your hand like this,
but
it
it looks different. Usually when it's in front of us, we do it like that, which
okay.
seems really
Well,
weird. Yeah.
if you hold your hand up, you can make a J, and it's pointing at
pointing from above.
From above. So this line represents the crown, or your mental power, the past, the future. This represents a cup here, which can hold memories and knowledge. This here is the rocker. So this letter would rock back and forth. The rocker is the base. This is a place in life that matters. So what we see here are leaders with creative solutions. They're very self-reliant, witty, humorous, and cautious. So these are positive attributes of the letter J. On the shadow side of that, we have dishonesty and procrastination. And for the last 1, which one was, I should have wrote these down. 1 is what? As just. Okay,
As
so
just.
the S in as just is the symbol of success. It makes the money. We also have like open to the future, open to the past. This area represents open to the past. This line in here, it shifts quickly. This could be a river that preserves, a snake that sheds its new skin. This is a self-starter, an achiever. On the positive side, we've got very creative, actors and artists, highly intuitive, psychics. On the shadow side, independent to the detriment, and thinks too highly of themselves. There's always, for there to be good or positive, there always has to be the balance of.
There's always a scale.
There's
It's always a scale.
It's always a scale, and there's always we can't always be just good, just everything positive. Because otherwise, how would we know that something was good or bad if we didn't notice the bad side? So we are on to the letters that fall under 2, which are BKT for bucket.
I like to describe these as buckets of emotion because each one of these things has emotional ties to it. But yes, go ahead.
Okay, so this is the builder, the house of the soul. Here we have a balance line, and this is one of those letters that if you folded it over, it would be the same. Is that would mirror?
Right.
Is that what you call it? Mirror.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you folded that over, it would mirror. So it's like as above, so below. So we've got spiritual above and material below. And then these little areas in here inside this B represent closed rooms where you keep stuff or box stuff up. On the plus side, we've got cling to memories, hold on to, very sensitive and needs affection. On the shadow side, we've got shy, shut in, sneaky, and very fixed opinions. Next, under the letter 2, we've got the K for master of self. Again, with the balance line, and again with the letter that if you folded it over, it would be the same. But the K scatters energy. So that's what these little lines represent. Scatters its energy and must be mastered to be successful. They must master that to be successful. This opening here represents that it's open to enlightenment. We have divine love above the balance line and human love below the balance line. And then this little area down in here, remember we had open to enlightenment here. Down here we've got open to material gain. So, material, this is the human part of us, right? The earthly part of us. And this open to enlightenment, that's our spiritual side. On the plus for the K, we've got ruled by Venus, the planet of love, and open to enlightened opportunities. On the shadow side of the K, we've got overly sensitive, too much love for the material world, and thievery, lying, and hidden motives. Next, how did I get, oh, did I forget to, oh, next, also in the 2, so this is the last letter under the number 2, the T for let's be friends. The cross across the top of the T equals protection. They can also carry too much weight on their shoulders. This can also represent a tree where you can find shelter under. So this is an area to find shelter. T's that need peace and they need meaning, so spiritual or religious. On the shadow side of the T, we've got bad temper and a poor me syndrome. Oh, the victim.
Because they give too much.
Because they give too much, if you didn't hear what Jamie said. Okay, I hope I'm not going too fast. This is a review. If you're just joining us and seeing this, we went into a lot more detail when we did the first part of this series. So if you really want to dig into these letters, Jamie had a lot of knowledge that she shared with us on that last webinar. This is the review part. So we are now on to number 3, which is CLU for clue. Why was it clue?
Well, it spells out clue kind of.
Yeah,
right?
It spells out clue, but these are all.
It gives you a clue. So 3 is about, it's different than a balancing like the 4. 3 is a spiritual balancing, like the Trinity. That still comes in. So clue is to give a clue of like, what's the insight? Where are you going with it? Because see, scatter. It's very interesting. I wish that the U had a corresponding rhyming thing, but C, it scatters energy. L, it gathers energy, and then U doesn't rhyme at all. So I'm like, that I need 3 things that rhyme, but it's sort of about the energy and then about how you align it or balance it. So it's a balancing number with 3 because of the Trinity, like a triangle, but that's get a clue. So what are you leading from? Where's your energy going? How are you aligning it?
Okay. So C represents an open mouth, and Jamie specifically named her son Cameron. She wanted a C name because she wanted him to be able to use his voice and to be able to communicate. C also scatters energy, and their emotions cannot be held in. We also have with the C the rocking base, so it kind of sways, can sway.
It's like not steady. We have other letters like L. You're going to see L in a minute, which is just another evolution of the C or of that 3 energy, and L with that base across the bottom, like you guys know what a capital L looks like. C being on that rocker, it just like, that's why I kind of put these things coming out where it's spewing out energy, because it's just like I rock back, I rock forward, and that's when it's unbalanced. So it doesn't always have to do that, but that's one of the things that gives it a trait of like, it's the first letter and it's numerological. Help me out with that. Did I say it right?
I think so.
Yeah. Series. So it's like the sort of the base of it.
Okay.
Whereas you would be sort of like a more, it's been through several layers of lessons.
Why is Tank out? Okay,
Tanky
my dog's under my feet. All right, so with the C, we have on the positive sides, we've got good with words, loves to let their light shine, and artistic. And on the shadow side, we've got too serious or scatters energy, and difficulty saving money. The second letter under 3 is the L. And this is what gets through. So this represents a door. This represents what slips through. This is balance on earth. This is what slips through. So where this is joined here, that's what slips through.
Yeah, I think about this like, we didn't go to D yet, right? So D and L, like this being a door, because the letter D is also a door, but this is like the door where you see it as you're looking, like you could see through a wall, and that's the door and that's the other side of the door. So you're in between a barrier, you're looking at a scene as if they've got a false wall here, and you can see who's in the room and who's outside the room. That's what L feels. They feel they're either on this side or this side. And this little part that gets through, that's L's trick.
Okay.
Or quality or positive side of it.
Yeah.
It can be negative because you think about words that begin with L, like lying.
Yeah.
you know,
Love,
using
but also
leverage,
love and-
love. So it's things that just get through, which is, you know, emotionally. Again, this is on the emotional side. Yeah.
So we have a lot of like openness here. So it's completely open. It gathers energy and insight, and it makes good teachers and lawyers. Also, for the L, we have the words themes of encouragement and open to spiritual, psychic, and the occult. And that's very open. On the shadow side, lack of self control and no patience, finds fault in everything. The last letter under the number 3, that's number 3, is U, the cup. And you can't, it's hard to see it, but Jamie drew a little like
I did. I tried
a
to draw
little like a little
handle.
handle right here.
Yeah.
So this is this.
Because I always imagine it like a mug you're holding.
Yeah.
You know, like it's full. So you walk around with like a super hot coffee. You
Yeah.
might spill it. And so it's you is sort of a letter to be careful with. Be careful what you put in your cup, because if you spill it, what's going to happen? Yeah.
But you're open to receive from spirit,
Mm-hmm.
from the spirit realm. Good luck. This is the shape of a horseshoe.
Mm-hmm.
You can picture a mug. The mug can receive and hold on to. It can hold on to. It's good fortune, creative, imagination, all the things you can put in a cup. But again, we have the rocker base. So sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. I'm whatever, nervous. You've got too nervous or emotional. Everything spills out. Loss of all you've gained with this rocker base. There's your
When
potential.
it tips over, you think about that, right? Like if you put, you know, I didn't write this down, but like all your eggs in one basket, and then the basket flips over, you lost everything.
Yeah.
So that's sort of like that vessel that carries all your stuff, knowledge, emotion, whatever it is. And if you become unsettled, you're losing your shit, literally.
Okay. All right. Also 2 walls. All right. So dual in nature. Ulysses is what comes to my mind. On the positive, we've got warm and spiritual, charming, a collector, artist, speaker. On the shadow side, it can be cold and materialistic, holds too much inside, jealous, quarrelsome, and sarcastic.
You love that? Jealous, quarrelsome, and sarcastic. When I was writing, I was trying to think of, I don't know a lot of people with U names, or like U's in their name. So when you get to the letters that aren't used very often, you're always like, oh, who do I?
Yeah, like Z names, X names, and stuff.
Q.
Okay, so now we're going to go to number 4, which is balance. The wheels on the car, DMV. That's how you can remember
Wheels on
that.
the car go round and round.
Yep. So we're going to
round
do
and
the
round.
letters under 4, which are D, M, and V. So we just talked about this a second ago. D is the door. It's perspective. A closed door. A room full of what one desires. And
Yeah. So I'm sorry, can I cut in?
yeah, sure.
Okay. So when we were talking about L, and you saw that this, usually when a letter has a defined line like this, it means that somebody's like opinionated, they know what they want. There's sort of like a barrier, right? This means that direct line means something. And in the case of the D and the L, this is like the divider of, are you on the inside or the outside? It's all about perspective. When you start looking at letters and you're like, here's the positive and negatives that carry with it, you can notice within yourself, do I always feel like I'm on the outside of stuff, or do I always feel like I'm in the room? I'm very, like everybody talks to me. It's an energy that you carry. So you can embody, sort of the positive traits of the letter, or feel the negative traits of the letter, the lessons that come with it. Because both are really lessons. I mean, this was willing to work hard, fair and honest, but that D is, I think of the Hobbit door. Did you see the Hobbit, or like any of the Lord of the Rings movies?
I don't think so.
They sort of have this like circled door. So I imagine that the door is like open, and I wanted to draw like a little handle right here, like boom, there's the door open. or you can imagine that it's shut and you're like going up to knock on the door, But it's all about perspective. That's the biggest thing, is that when you're offered a door, do you think that you're safer on the outside or the inside? Like, where do you want to be?
Yeah.
The door
Is the door open or shut?
Yeah. Is it open or shut to you? Can you get in? What's behind it? Do you want that? It's such an analytical letter. And how many Davids are there out there? Because it's
so
such
many.
a popular name.
Yeah.
And their name literally starts with the door and ends with the door. So I have to wonder, like, of the Davids that I've known, yeah, they're always wondering, do I go this? Am I going this way? What am I doing? How am I preparing? Where am I going? You know, if there's any Davids in your guys' life, let us know. Do you feel that with them, where they're always kind of like, where do I fit in? Where am I going? What are the goals? What's behind that door? I'm shut out, or I'm totally in that thing. That happens. Our names do that to us. Or Desiree.
So
or
Christy
Diana.
Ann wants to know if L is like the liminal space. I know we passed L already a minute ago, but she asked the question and I'm just now seeing it. So
I know, because your chat on that little thing is so small. I don't know how to
it
make
is.
that
I don't
bigger.
know either. I'll have to figure it out. But yeah, if you want to answer
so
that question,
for
is
L-
L like a liminal space? And we were back on.
I don't think L is a liminal space, because liminal space sort of means like you're in the in between. But for me, and correct me if I'm wrong for what liminal space means to you, but for being in the in between, it's really about, when I say perspective, you're looking at something and then you're making a decision. Does that fit with liminal space? Liminal is like where there are no boundaries.
I thought it was like the in between. It's
The
like
in-between.
the in between, right?
So
yeah.
It's really because it's a perspective thing. It's like, do you wish you could go into that house? Do you wish you could go into that room? Do you wish you could be in a space? I think that's more what these letters L and D represent is, do you want to be on the other side of it? How are you going to get there? L, having an L in your name, which is really cool, will allow you to figure out a way. Like, you are sneaky. L has this sneaky undertone of like getting into spaces. It's not the liminal space. It's not in between. You know exactly where you're going. You're like water going under a door. That's how I used to describe it in the early days. It's like, you know, you have a door, but water will get through.
Right.
And that's how I think of L, like leaking through if it wants to, only if it wants to. But it has the option to. And I guess the reason why I think of the L like the door is because there's a barrier there. The barrier is that you're so opinionated and you believe you're right. And there are things about the L that say, I know exactly what I'm doing. But when you want to make change, it's not big and bold and going forward like an E or an F. You're not grabbing at things, right? Like, you're getting in slowly and building from the ground up. You're doing something physically to get in there. Whereas with E and F, as we get into them, they have top pieces. And so you're doing like more of spiritual work or more mental work, where L is like, you're doing a physical work to get in there. There's a manipulation of some kind.
Okay.
I hope that helps.
Hope that helps, Christy Ann. Thank you for clarifying how your name is pronounced. Okay, back to the D. We're just going to go over this D. Willing to work hard, fair and honest. On the shadow side, feels closed in or closed off. Gloomy, can be gloomy and opinionated. Okay, continuing on with the letters under the number 4, or is that's not the right way to say it? However,
DMV.
Yeah,
DMV.
DMV.
It's letters under the 4.
Okay.
These are 4 letters.
Okay.
Which
The M, the mountain. Okay, we have appear open to spirituality, good management, orderly mind, great memory. The feet are firmly planted and it's balanced. We have balance here. The shape shows continuing flow. This would just go on and on and on and on, right? Good homemakers. These are good homemakers, potentially. Mother, stable and strong, resilient, hardworking. On the shadow side, they can be silent, dull, cold, hardened, like a sleeping mountain. And they can forget to rest or relax.
Like a mountain.
Yeah.
Always vigilant, always watching.
Finally, under the number 4, DMV, we have the V, the valley. This is like, is this the hardest letter? Because this is a pit.
In my mind,
this is, even though you've got visionary here, but this is a pit.
Yeah. So with the V, you have all that open space, but it's coming down to this little tiny output. It's like shoving a lot of, I'm going to a Play-Doh thing. I don't know why, that's what I just thought. You know, like Play-Doh, like kids, and you had this thing where you would shove a bunch of Play-Doh in and then you would turn the crank and like little shapes would come out of it.
I remember.
That is sort of how I think of the V. You're going to push a lot of stuff in, open to insight, inspiration. These are visionary people, but how they actually, the output of it is difficult. And you know, nervous energy, just too hard on, like, the things that the V needs to be successful is harder. And it's the V in the letters that it represents, because I actually put this over here. I didn't do that last time. But V is in other letters as well. It's in the M, the W, the K, the N, the X. It's actually also in the Z. The A is an upside down V. V really represents challenges that we find. And whether it's upright or the other way is like where the challenges or opportunities come from. With the A, it's all earthly challenges, right? It's the first letter.
Because that's
standing
open.
on earth. Yeah. And here, we have opportunities from up above, but our challenge is at the material or the physical side of it. So you just start to see where you place the strain of, we have all this openness of like messages from above, but how do we apply them? You know, how does that constantly feeling like you're climbing a mountain?
Well, and this delicate point is touching the earth. So everything, so all
Just
the spiritual stuff, you know, you got all this opening to the realm. But then you have this delicate point. So it's definitely a balance. But what I see also is like you go down and then you climb up, and you're down and you climb up. So that's like climbing a mountain. Okay. On the V's can be very intellectual, with a good business mind. They work well with others, a good leader. They need to contribute something worthwhile in the world. On the shadow side, we have, you know, hardened criminals who lack morals, materialistic, and too much nervous energy.
Yeah, I think about this like, all right, one of the things that you read about with V, and I think about the name Victor. I don't know why, because victory and Victor, I don't know. But with that, you have all of this stuff that you can imagine, all of this insight and influence. And if you were to use that for good, boom, look at the output that you could have. But if you were to use all of this and be like, I have no moral standing, and you put that into something bad, you could be a really good criminal. Like that's sort of, the letter itself is not good or bad. It's what we do with, like, as the experience of it. That's how we go. What is he doing? Tank is looking at us.
I do not know.
He is.
Okay.
He is trying to will us into something.
Now we are on to the number 5, the letters that fall under the number 5, this is about new experiences. You might remember Jamie saying that. So we flip these around. This is new experiences.
Because the 5 letter is like a
Because
very
that's
open.
the energy of the 5.
That's the energy of the 5. So they get that from them.
Wait a minute.
Gosh.
I saw knowledge and I was like, am I on K? Okay. So first letter under 5 is the E. And what we have here is knowledge through experience. If you turn this on its side, it looks like books on a shelf. You have this open areas, open to everything. Sing, talk, speak. This open to the future. We have a balance line. So we've got the spiritual side up above, the material side below. And again, if you flip these over, it's the same. They're mirrors. The E can be energetic and needing freedom. They can be open to everything. On the shadow side, they can be cold and unemotional, vocally critical of others. All you Elizabeths out there and Edwards. There's a lot of E names. There's lots of E names.
So this would be the first letter that we didn't fully go through.
Okay. And how are you doing? Do you want to?
I have I and R.
Okay. So you're almost done.
I'm almost
done.
done.
I'll spend okay.
Well, we didn't go through this one. So
okay. So this is where we left off last time.
We're 30 minutes in, and we're finally getting to the new information.
Our reviews.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. With the N being a 5 letter, we have to look at what it sort of takes on. The N is considered the repeating lesson. And if you look, it's because you have to climb up the wall, you fall down into the pit of despair, and then you climb back up the wall. And like, it's a repeating cycle like that. I know we already did M. M is sort of the same way, where it's that movement. It's over and over again. It never stops. When you think about N, this is another hard letter that I think about, like V, where what you have to do is continually choose what is right for you every time the lesson is presented. So whatever that is, like, you know, I'm trying to think of life lessons. Mom, help me out. What do you think? of life
Oh
lessons?
gosh.
Like, I don't know why I instantly thought of don't do drugs, wear your seatbelt. I don't know. Like life, I don't know what the
Well,
life
it
lessons
could be
are.
something like,
Choosing the right people.
getting along. How about just getting
Yeah.
along with people and being,
Yeah.
nice.
Just being nice.
My mother's name is Nancy, and I can see,
Oh.
I can see how the lessons that she's had, she had to have them over and over again. Like she was married 3 times,
Mhm.
she, yeah.
And if you guys see my little note over here, there's a certain symmetry to this that everyone points out when you get into it. And so that was my first attempt. I X'd it out. Okay, I didn't fucking mirror it, right? Then I tried it again. I messed up one letter. I was like, oh my God, I did not mirror it again. It's really hard to look at it and mirror it. But here it is mirrored again. And you almost can't even tell that they're different. But that's the positive side of N, is no matter how you flip it, it's always going to be who it is. There's a positivity to that. And also, I guess, a negative if it's a negative person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and,
Depending
like,
on which traits you
what do they say?
exhibit.
A leopard never changes its spots or something like
Right,
that.
yeah.
The N has this balance thing in it that you flip it, you mirror it, you turn it, you do this. The N still has the lessons. You can't outrun these lessons. That is sort of why I drew this thing, because it's interesting to see it be that way. It's like, whoa, that's really wild. So even though it could be seen as a negative, it is well balanced. So whether that's well balanced in positivity or negativity, it's well balanced. Mirror images of itself do not change its values of open top and bottom. It just doesn't change it. It also has a wall on either side, right? Not necessarily closed off to future and this is future and this is past, but it is like strong opinions about what should be done for future, strong opinions about what should be done in the past. Like, I'm coming in already knowing what I want, and you're not going to change me. N is that way. That's why it's the repeating lesson, because I would say if there was a hard-headed letter in the alphabet, this is it. It's like, I'm not fucking changing. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and eventually I'm going to persevere. But it's not the S, which smoothly cuts through rock, right? It's like forever and ever, squeaky wheel. So I put in here, doesn't change. That is not the goal of the N. The goal of the N is to repeat the lesson so that you keep learning whatever it is you need to learn. You can change how you approach the lesson, but the lesson will still appear. I have a good example of that today. I had to stand in a fucking line at the post office. I really didn't want to. It was 25 minutes. I got up there. I didn't have the information they needed. It felt like a huge waste of time. I finally figured it out using just a search in my camera to figure out what my P.O. box number was. But when I stood in that line, I really did not want to. And I was like, Jamie, you've been avoiding this for like 2 years. No joke, you guys. I've literally paid for a P.O. box just because I didn't want to go there for 2 years. That's my avoidance issue. Yeah. And procrastination probably. And so the lesson was going to happen no matter what. And when I finally had to deal with it, it like made it the worst that it could for me, because it was like, you needed this. You needed this experience to deal with that shit so that next time you just do it on time. Because I have an issue with procrastination. I don't know if anybody else does, but that is one of my key lessons in this life for sure. The N is a very sensual or spiritual letter. It's got the physical and the spiritual openness to it, both above and below. So the encounters that you have as an N is that you're going to go through changes, right? You're going to climb it, you're going to fall. You're going to climb it, you're going to fall. What you start to get pissed off about is like, why am I always doing the same thing? Why does it feel like I always end up in the same place?
Mm-hmm.
It's how you approach the lesson. If you keep approaching it with like pride and resistance and procrastination, you're going to get it. You're going to experience the N the same way. But when you change that, you can have better life changes. You can like open yourself up to love instead of shutting it down, or I think about it like that, where I handle procrastination terribly, but one day I chose love and was open to it, and I'm married now, and I was like, oh my God, look what I did. I got to open myself up. So the problem here, the negative side of it, is it repeats itself without learning from its mistakes. Oh my God, raise your hand if you know somebody like that. I swear to God, every man I've ever met in my life.
On the positive side, like Jamie said, very sensual or spiritual, encounters many life changes, great imagination, like writers. Okay, I know we haven't done these. Do you want to
No,
let
you
me?
can I wrote them out so that you could really describe them. And if
Okay.
I feel like there's more to explain, or if you have a question, you let me know.
Okay. All right. Next,
'Cause I
we're
always
on
talk too
to
much, don't I?
the W, which is the W.
That's right.
So we have inspiration, open to insights from spirit. Right here, we've got a point, need to listen to the inner voice.
That's the peak inside that, like, if you're climbing valleys, right? You think back to like the N and all the letters
The
we
V,
talked about.
this is two
Yeah,
V's.
2 V's. You're climbing something to get somewhere. That's the climb, is to hear your inner voice. You know, it's not necessarily to get out of a situation, but you really got to keep getting to who you are. That's the W.
So we have deep insights, deep valleys, deep mysteries, and deep depression. The W's can be deep and sensitive. They need freedom and experience. On the shadow side, they can be overindulgent in sensual pleasures and stuck in the pits right here, just like in the V, they can get stuck here. Is there anything you'd like to add to the V or to the W? Sorry. It represents a change in the a change of consciousness.
Yeah, because you have to scale the peak.
Scale the peak.
Yeah, you got to get
so
that.
climbing Mount Everest.
The other interesting thing about W is that in some circles, it's actually considered not a consonant, but a vowel. And I love that. So in her books, Shirley Lawrence, can you do your chart with that as a vowel and as a consonant? Because it actually used to be considered a vowel and not a consonant. That's why it's like the W, and that could be Y-O-U, or that could be like the letter U, which we actually consider a vowel. So it's this interesting letter that had a lot of changes. And so that's why it's debated highly in circles. You can find articles about this on like where the W's origins and what it means and how people think about it. But my last name was Williams, and it is Welch now. So I kept my W, and I swear when I got married, I was like, oh my God, I kept my W. I'm so happy about that, because for me, W is still a spiritual letter. It's something where you need to look into yourself. Sort of when I see people with W's in their names, I'm like, oh, you know something different. I feel like certain letters give people this like spark of something. And W's and Y's are probably two of my favorite letters if I had favorites. J, W, and Y. because they're really spiritual. And you usually find that people with those letters, they're not always spiritual, but they lean towards that. They're very interested in the occult. They really want to go outside of the box of like normal standard structures. There's just something about that letter that gives more. So that's what I have to say about W.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay. How are you doing over there?
I'm okay.
Are you on the last one or no? Almost.
I'm on I and R. These are
Okay.
It's so hard to write them down because I like talk about them so much. It's hard to write it.
All right. So now we're going to go over the letters under the number 6, which is fox for family, like a fox den.
Like
so think of a fox den.
Yes,
so think
with
of
all the little
family.
kids inside.
Yeah.
6 is a very family.
6 is my
letter.
number when you break down. I'm a 33 in numerology, which
A life path 33.
a life path 33, which
Mhm.
is a 6, very domestic. So the 6s are all about family, domestic things. I imagine that's what we'll see here. So F, the family letter, carries the load mentally. So the line across the top.
Mhm.
Again, we have this. What do you call this? You say this is opinionated because it's like a hard.
You come in with like certain things that you believe and you're not going to change them.
Right.
That hard line of like, this is who I am. This is what I believe.
Okay. These the lines or the 2 arms here.
I do.
Reaches.
I'm like hugging somebody.
Reaches with 2 arms for those close. Open.
Like the T.
Excuse me. Open. We have openness here. A good teacher needs to be of value, wants peace and harmony through and through, needs beauty, art, and freedom of speech.
I got a new symbol here because as you get deeper into the letters, like more things come as it could be like
Is that
positive.
neutral?
It's like, yeah, that's my neutral signal.
Okay.
Yeah, take a drink. My neutral signal is this 0, because when I hear responsibility is a duty, I feel overwhelmed. That statement immediately exhausts me. Whereas other people are like, ooh, responsibility is a duty, and they feel really like good about that. And that's great. We'll just all accept that statement differently. So I did not write that as a positive or a negative. I'm like, that's fucking neutral.
It depends on who you are.
Up for
Debate,
opinions.
Yeah.
However you want to interpret that.
Yeah.
I've done a couple like that now, because I was like, I don't see that as a positive, but that's my own opinion. Oh, maybe that's what the 0 represents, opinion.
Okay. F's can take on the shadow side. We have take responsibility to the extreme,
Yeah.
holds on too tightly.
Yeah, if these are arms like reaching out to hug somebody, imagine somebody squeezing the shit out of you and not letting you go. Like,
Yeah.
it's too much.
Right.
You're like, loosen the reins a little bit, guy. Like, this is a possessive person sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know anybody with an F name that was like possessive, or just held on too tightly, or, you know, needed to be in control?
I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
I don't know anybody with F names, really. No,
I can't think of anyone with an F name. I'm sure I know people.
Well, you know what's funny is, like, you'll learn that when you don't have anybody with those letters, it's because you don't fucking get along with them. So
you stay the fuck away from them.
If you start noticing letters where you're like, wow, I don't really know that letter at all. It never comes up in my life. I don't know anybody with that. I swear there's vibrations that you just do not vibe with and you stay away from. And then there's other times where you're like, how many friends named Ashley have you had? You know, like, I love when I talk to Jolene about all her Ashleys, it's like there's been all these Ashleys, and they each of them, it's never worked out as friends, but they all have a little indicator after their name, right? or before the name. There's crazy Ashley, there's spineless Ashley, there's slutzer face Ashley. Like, they all have a name because they didn't work out, but they were all named Ashley. So that's one of our own family. I don't have anything like that because I don't know. I'm a recluse, I guess.
Yeah, that's the same with me. Like, I pretty much stay to myself. My circle is very small.
Very small.
Jolene's circle, she's a 5. She's a 5. So she wants the experience. She wants to be out with people. She wants to be doing things constantly, which exposes you to a lot of people, which is why I stay the fuck home. because I don't want to be exposed to a bunch of people, because I don't vibe with their energy, and it stresses me the fuck out. Excuse my language. But we're on F, so I'm going to say fuck.
Ooh, I mean, if you think about what fuck, like, once you know what the letters mean, you guys, you can go in and be like, okay, let's look at F, and then U, and then C, and then K. What is the energy around just that word? You know?
Ooh.
It's really fun. It's fun.
Okay, shadow side of the F. Takes responsibility to the extreme, holds on too tightly, becomes a tyrant or a know-it-all. Ooh, the worst.
Yeah.
The worst, tyrants and know-it-alls, they are the most. No wonder I don't have any F friends. And stubbornness, mommy knows best. Mommy knows best. Why did you put that?
Isn't that a saying?
Yes, mother knows best.
Oh,
yeah,
mother knows best.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get these
stubbornness.
sayings. Yeah.
Stubbornness. And you've got, like, mother knows. Like, oh, I know what you should do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm gonna, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like that with my first probably 2 kids, where I was like, no, you're gonna do it my way.
This is the way it is. This is how you live in my house.
Yeah, but then by the time you get to the 3rd one, you're like, I'm exhausted, and I'm do whatever. Yeah, go ride a skateboard.
Go ride a skateboard.
Yeah, go ride a skateboard and fall on your face and face plant like your sister did when she was 5.
Hey, I was like 3, and I didn't know any better. Nobody was there to stop me. I should have been. My brother should have stopped me. Honestly, it was his skateboard. Yeah, he just was like, "Yeah, let's see what happens with that."
All right. Next, under 6, we have the O for the eye of God.
Yeah. So I will tell you guys, writing this, I mean, 25 years ago when I talked about this, saying the eye of God didn't feel bad to me, but I don't really use God anymore. Now I just say goddess for a lot of stuff. Bless you.
Excuse me.
But this is just the way that I've always said it. So I did write it. Look how funky I wrote it compared to other things. You can tell that I struggled with that. It's so it's a modge podge of weird.
It's
letters.
like it
was hard to get it out. Honestly.
I know. I'm looking for alternatives for the word pray, because I don't use the word pray because of the religious connotations. Yeah.
So It is one of the interesting things that I didn't write down here. Oh, yes, I did. Maybe I didn't. So the circle in general, we're going to call this the circle, not just the letter O, but the circle. Okay. It was a form that man has been making since like way prehistoric times. They didn't make fucking squares. Squares are such a new shape for us as a species. Circles were what we did. So when we created sacred places, we made fucking circles. Think about Stonehenge. There's like, when you go back to the old world, you'll find more circle patterns than you will squares of any kind. That's because energetically, squares don't really fit into nature like circles do, right? So wind and water could get around this easier and not break against it like a square with its sharp edges. Fucking men came up with squares, I swear. Circles are women. Circles are
they did.
pregnant bellies, their breasts, their uteruses, their creation. It's these places where
it's the egg. It can be the
egg
too.
The
Earth, primordial egg.
all the planets. Like circles are everything. Okay, now I'm done with that. But all churches a long time ago, and church is just another word for circle, actually. So symbolically, circle is the symbol for spirit and for the sun. Like it's the actual symbols for those things. So you think about how important the circle is, and that we have the letter O, which is a sound, but the letter O is the circle. When people used to build churches, this is the story I've always told. When people used to build special places and places of worship, the very center of them would be considered something called the eye of God, goddess, whoever, and in the middle there was a place for sacrifices is not the right word.
Altars.
It's an altar for
rituals.
No, what do you fucking leave? Oh my gosh.
Oh, offerings.
Offerings. Thank you. Another O word. The circle was where offerings were left, and they used to have this rule that only the innocent could enter the circle, like the center of the circle, only the innocent. Because what they believed is that if you entered into the holiest of the holiest of the holies of the holes of in the circle, this was meant for people who had never done any wrong, who were so innocent they couldn't do any wrong. They couldn't do anything that would like disturb the god, goddess, whoever they were, giving offerings to. So that's the story of the circle being the eye of God. It was like they could see through to if people were good, bad. There was sort of this belief around that when you entered the center of the circle, that you would be judged, or you could be found out, or you would be known. And adults did not dare enter into that space and leave offerings. They always sent young in there because there was no ill will there. They didn't have an opinion about anything yet, right? They didn't worry about, will I be forgiven? Oh, I did this thing wrong. It's something like their minds were clear and clean of that. And so this being the shape of also our head, you think about the brain that's in there, like this has so many representations into our society in the modern days and going all the way back. Like they knew the circles of everything. So, that's, I talk about this and the letter I a lot with the whole symbolism of what we believe creation and like something looking over us. Not all the letters represent that there's this outer force sort of that's in our letters that means something like that.
Okay. All right. So
having the O in your name means
a keen inner eye.
Yep.
Saint or honest.
Yeah, saint is in, air quotes.
Yeah, air quotes.
Because you could be seen like that. People could have that idea of you, but it doesn't mean that you are. But like this is one, you might strive for that. People with O's in their names really want to get to that place. So
somewhere in the middle or opinion, all or nothing.
Well, it's all or nothing. So it can't be negative or positive, but O letters represent the all or the nothing, in or out, It's all within the cosmos and all that's outside the cosmos, zero. Mm-hmm. So that's why the cosmic egg sort of does have a place, right? It's like there was nothing before, and then and there's everything. And this idea of where did creation start? I mean, O is a whole fucking, it's O's a whole rabbit hole.
Okay. On the shadow side of the O, sinner, dishonest, becomes bitter, seeks revenge. the mad God.
Yeah.
Mad.
This
in
is
quotes.
where they decided with judgment. This is when they added in the negative side of the O is when they added in like, you need to do right by me or by God, or thou shall not blah, 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 blah. Like that's when all this judgment came in where people on earth decided how, to take control and then to control the idea of God or what judgment really looks like or what's right or wrong.
Yeah. But speaking of that, so this is all fixed. It's all the same around, and very fixed.
Very fixed. Yeah. So when you have an O in your name, usually your idea of what religion or spirituality is or anything is very fixed. It's going to be very hard to change your mind. You're going to need an experience. You're going to need to have something happen to you. People with the letter O in their name often have a pretty good idea of which side they're on, more spiritual versus religious. Kat's going to look at the chats really quick.
Christiane asked, since a married name was mentioned,
oh yes,
what has more, and I can't see it, what's more spiritual connection, the family name you were born with or the one you chose later in life, like your married name?
So my personal belief is that what you choose to call yourself, what you choose to put down on paper and sign your name to, what you choose to have on an ID, what you choose to possibly put on a headstone, or like how you're represented in this life. And this goes, my husband's name is Anthony, but he's never, ever in a single day in his life gone by Anthony. His name is Tony. Everybody has always known him as Tony. So there's a reveal to that even when he hears the name Anthony, it doesn't feel like him. The bigger thing is that he feels like a Tony. I think this is why we do change our names. I had my very close friend, she just recently changed her name and I love what she changed it to. And, it's like you have to find what you're connected to. We are born into like whatever our parents decide. I got very lucky that my name fits me really well. And I just told you that before we actually started.
Yeah,
so I was like,
she
I love
thanked
my
me
name.
and I
for
said,
such
well,
a great name.
You just looked like a Jamie.
Yeah.
When I had two names, it was either going to be Carrie, Keri, or Jamie. And when she was born and I saw her little face, I said, that's a Jamie.
Yeah. And I said, if I'd been a Carrie, we would have been kleptos together. We would have been like, because Kay kind of has this like klepto thing going on with it.
Yeah.
But
I used to be a klepto.
I don't even think you were a klepto. You just like certain opportunities were like, I'm going to take that. Nobody cares if I take that. So I think personally that it is the name you choose. It is not necessarily the name you're born with, but that does not refute the name that you're born with carries weight, and it can probably show you lessons that you either had to deal with that you want to get rid of. A reason to change our name is so that we can have a new identity and not continue the same lessons that we were already going through. Right? Like, so what's really interesting, I'm just going to use my husband as an example, because his name is Anthony, but he chose Tony. All those letters still exist for him. He still has the T-O-N and Y. That Anthony has T-O-N and Y. He didn't really get out of anything, but he didn't lead with the A because he was not a spiritual person, which A's normally have an opinion about that. And he kept the T as his first letter. And I'll tell you what, the one thing about my husband is he makes friends everywhere he goes. He loves to entertain people. He is he's such a vibe when you go out to anywhere. Like he doesn't know a stranger, I swear. It's like everybody could be his friend. He can talk to anybody. And since that A did not represent or fit how he felt he wanted to present himself in the world, he went by Tony. It was like he never switched back. Then I know people that had childhood names like Andy and they go to Andrew. It's like they need to be taken more seriously. There needs to be more letters in their name so that it carries a different weight with it. The same thing with last names. Giving up Williams, I looked at some of the letters that I lost, but I gained one. We're going to go through karmic debts in the numerology parts, but I gained the letter C. I didn't have that in my name before. I didn't have any letters that really helped me like open up. And since I got married in 2019, you guys, I started the fucking YouTube channel in 2020. I put myself online after I took on that last name that has a C in it. So it really, it does shift things. In my opinion, it shifts things. So if you want to change something, look at the letters. It used to cost like $150 to change your name. Change your fucking name, change your life, change your vibration, change the way that you see yourself. Take on a new identity. There is nothing stopping you unless you're a felon. That's it. Like, I think that was the only reason why you couldn't change your name. They were like, as long as you haven't been charged with any crimes of blah, 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 whatever, you change your name for like $150. Nobody's going to fight that, right? They're like, all right, sure, you can be whoever you want to be.
I just change my name every 20 years or so.
we were talking about how Kat has changed her first name that she goes by between Katrina and Cappy.
So my
Kathy
name, I was born Katrina. I grew up with the nickname Cappy, Kapi.
Oh yeah.
And then when I got to be got a mind of my own around 11 and was able to choose a name, the only thing I could think of was Kathy, because Katrina is a derivative of Kathleen or Catherine. So I went with Kathy, Kathy. And then I grew to really dislike that name when I was around, I don't know, in my 30s. So I started using Katrina professionally. And then I finally was like, yep, you know what? My name's Kat. That's it. It's the first three letters of my name. It's also the initials of my birth name. Kat are the initials of my name. So I was like, that's it. And that's where I've settled. Although now sometimes I use Kitty, although only like on social media. I don't have nobody really fully in it yet. Nobody really calls me Kitty, but I should have picked that a long time ago because now I like it. But the thing about me, I have Pluto in the first house, so I am constantly transforming. That's just my lot in life. That's been my whole story, my whole damn life, and that's why.
Well, okay, and let's think about that transition to go from. So you were Kathy, which has a Y, right?
Yeah.
But you got rid of that, and now you're coming back to possibly Kitty, which is like these other letters. But now the Y again, you're leaning back into your spiritual side. Like you've got all this stuff going on. When I think about name transitions, I'm like, ooh, what are you searching for? Because usually the name that you want to pick has a letter in it that like brings out a different side of you. Because it's not like just because you were named Bob at birth that you can only be Bob. You can only have B and O as the way that you present yourself to the world. That's not true. You can present yourself in whatever way you want to. And we do that by tapping into things like changing our names, going by something else, creating the persona. We are only restricted by the things that we think in our head and our own boundaries. If you were born Bob at birth and then you change your name to Daryl, I don't know why I'm using guys. We don't even have any men here, but I don't know. Bob is just, I don't know. You change your name to Daryl and you want to become somebody else. Guess what? When you become Daryl, you have there's a whole sound to Daryl versus Bob, right? I mean, it's there's just these different names that bring on different
vibrations, energy,
resonance.
resonance.
There's a resonance. Yeah. So, like me, if I see somebody with a name tag on and it has a Y in it, I'll make comments about it. I'm like, oh, because I already know. I'm like, if you have a Y in your name, we haven't gone through Y.
We haven't got to Y yet.
But Y is an antenna. Y receives messages from above. Y hears shit. They're like, why do I feel like I've got this sixth sense into something? That's what Y does for a name. And, so when I see it, I'm always like, are you awake yet? Do you know that you're special? Do you know that you're different? Have you leaned into that yet? But that's with lots of different numbers. It's like, meeting a friend and her name is Tracy. I'm like, we're going to be best friends because she's a friend of a friend. She's just the friendliest of friends. And so there's an immediate trust almost, right? Where she's got a T and a Y and all these other great letters. And I'm like,
and the C
and the C and the E and the A. I mean, R is not a hard letter, but sometimes it makes us not choose stuff. We sit on our laurels and think about stuff too long. But honestly, I can see there's not a lot of letters where I'm going, oh, I'm not fucking with that. I can't.
Except for Frank, except for F.
No, even F is okay. F can be okay. You just, you don't find a lot of F, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know any Fs.
And the only Frank I can think of is if anybody watches that show called Shameless, Frank is a piece of shit. So, I don't know. So start looking at characters that you like too. This gets really fun when you start diving into it and you're like, oh, why did I never like that one actress that everybody loves or some, whatever. I mean, I know that for the longest time I sort of hid my Taylor Swift addiction because she's 9 years younger than me. And I was like, oh my God, everybody thinks she's pop and young and whatever. I was like, oh, she's deep, you guys. You just don't understand it yet. Her music that's not on the radio is super deep.
She has a Y in her name.
And well, that's what I'm saying. There's a Y and there's the T and there's that. She wants to be bring it in. Come on, guys, let's get close.
For the I.
Tell me a bad letter. Yeah. It's Tracy, the only one that you could deem. It's not even bad, but it's sometimes you think for too long.
Challenging.
Sometimes you don't move when you know you need to, or something like that. Which don't get me started. I got lots of them. I procrastinate the fuck out of myself. I've got 3 L's. Okay. I'm like looking at the door going, do I want to be over there? I don't know. Do I want to? I can tell you all my problem letters, but, and they're not problems. They're experiences that you're supposed to just grow from, right? So we're creating strengths in the letters that we finally figure out for ourselves. One of my dear peoples, I won't name exactly what she is or who she is to me, but I know she's going to be watching this. And with her letters, it's sort of the same thing. It's a Taryn. So she's got the N that can be sort of troublesome.
Repeating lessons.
Yeah, and it's at the end of the name. So it's always like, fuck, I always come back to the same thing. But having that Y in her name is I knew when I met her, I was like, we're going to be close. We're going to be, I just knew. I was like, well, you have a Y in your name. It's going to happen. And you're a T name. Like, you're going to be this whole thing of like closeness. And it's awesome. So when you start to see the letters and then you start looking at people at work or your friend group or something, you're like, oh my God, it makes sense. I know we're not even, this is how we went for an hour and 45 minutes last time. I will quiet it down. But when we were talking, it felt weird, you guys not seeing us. And it's just like our hands over here, like touching pages. So
but now we're going to go back to full screen.
I know.
We're going to go back because we're almost
continue on the
Yep,
lesson.
we're at the end of 6 with the X. So we're going to go back to, so you can see the full
7,
thing.
8, 9. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me remember how to do this. Hold on. Okay. It's this one. Yes. I got it.
Full screen.
Yeah,
there
there.
we go.
Okay.
So the last letter under the number 6
Over the
is
6, yeah.
X. And remember the 6 is family. It's the Fox, F-O-X.
Fox Den.
Fox Den, think of family, okay. So X marks the spot. Oh boy. So here we go again with the climbing, with the V's, with the double V's, the letter that folds over, that is the same, feels crossed. It's open on all sides. It's 4 V's. 1, 2, 3, 4 V's. Woo, 4 V's. Nervous energy. Arms asking for help. Feet firm. That's, I guess, positive. This can be all spiritual or all material, because you're open to both. Because here's you're open
literally.
You're open on all
past,
sides.
future, spiritual, material. You literally, this X is difficult because you get to choose anything, and that's the hardest part, right? When everything's available, how do you make a choice? How do you know?
Right. This seekers of truth and treasure, associated with sleep and rest and or renewal, a strong desire for love and service. On the shadow side, we have a symbol of self-denial. Sorrow can be intense and self-sacrificing. So it's just like X something out. I mean, because X can be, X can be, seen as negative.
Where do we find X's at?
Yeah, where do we find X's at? Crossings for one thing, like crossings. Also,
so that alerts you to something.
Yeah. Also, I mean, when people didn't know how to write, they would sign their name as an X. So that's something that I think
your name
of.
on the X.
They know X was there. They would just make an X,
right? Because that became sign your name on the X, right? Because
because they didn't know how, they didn't know how to write. So they just make a mark, and it was an X mark. Where else do we find X's?
Okay, I thought of. I know it's weird, but on emojis and like when people make faces and little cartoon characters, when their eyes are X'd out.
Their eyes like dead eyes,
sleeping or like passed out. Or it sort of gives this unconscious feeling. You're not there. You're checked out. So this X
checked out.
The X is trying to tell you something. You have to make a decision. This is all 4 directions. It's like you're literally in the center. Remember that road? Remember when we were traveling and there's the 4 states where they come to the crossroads and you can stand in like almost all 4 states at the same time or something?
You can see them all,
Or see them all, yeah. So that's a thing where you're sort of in the center of this when you have an X in your name, and you get to choose and try out and sort of figure out what aligns and where you're going.
And which can be debilitating. All those choices and options can be like, it can cause you to just like not be able to choose. Check out. Yeah.
So when you have self-sacrificing, this is because you allow everybody else to make choices for you, because it is too tough, because you don't know.
Yeah.
The sorrow that can be so intense is because you don't know how to find happiness with that X in your name. The choice is just, again, it's just debilitating, right?
Now I really feel bad for the Xaviers out there.
Well, they've got other good letters. Maybe.
Yeah.
No.
Xavier.
No, because
there's V in there.
V and R. I mean, but they have 3 vowels, A, I, and E.
Mm-hmm.
The more vowels you tend to have, the more spiritual stuff you've got on your side usually. Just saying.
Okay, now we'll go on to the number 7, and this is our spiritual gypsy, GPY
Yeah.
for gypsy. And 7 is a spiritual number, so these are spiritual. We will find. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Just finish. Finish since I don't want you to take it up yet.
Oh, okay. So we will find, I think, in these letters a lot of spirituality as we go through them.
So I want you guys to see the letter 7 lined up with these other letters, and how 7 is facing literally backwards, looking over these letters. That is why 7 is spiritual, because it is looking at all of the lives it's lived before it got to here. Here. And what we find, just while Kat has this out, what we find between 7 letters and 8 letters, there is no emotion in 8. So if you have these letters in your name, get prepared to these are not emotional letters. These are lacking emotion. These are all about what you hold in your head. And that sounds emotional, but it's not. It's actually like authoritarian, people who want power, people who only see value in what's present, not in like the future parts. These are very hard letters to deal with if you're a 7. These are literally like opposites. I will tell you that because I married an 8 a long, long time ago. Terrible mistake that I didn't know how to get out of. That's going to be on our podcast for this week. Not knowing how to say no to somebody who is this, like, it's a force without any emotion. And then you feel like you're just getting, I don't know, roped into it. What do you say to that? Roped in, wrapped up?
Just,
fucking
run over is what bullied. Yeah, bullied. Yeah.
Billy the Bully. Yeah, there you go. Billy the Bully. Oh,
Billy Bully.
I'm not going to name the episode that, but yes. 8, this is unemotional because right now 7 is looking back at all of his experiences. So these are building, right, from who I am, my emotions, where do I find myself? I need balance. I need new experiences. I need family. Now I need to look back and see the purpose of all of these. So we're going to get into 7.
Okay. Okay. The G.
The closed mouth.
The closed mouth.
Versus it's mirror letter. Hold on. Sorry. I'm getting there. I'm coming. Okay. Sorry.
She's getting there. She promises.
The open mouth and the closed mouth. Okay. So you can see how they're similar, right? The G and the C. I can't get into all the histories. It would be way too fucking much. But this being the open mouth has things about it. And then this being the closed mouth, being the silent one, being the watcher, being the observer versus being the one who speaks a lot.
All right. G, the closed mouth, also representing a person biting their lip.
Mm-hmm.
This open to spirituality, walled off physically.
Yeah. Because remember, like, the letters are split in half. So this is all the spiritual side. This is the physical side or the material side. When the letter is open up here, you're allowing things in spiritually, but here you're just like, fuck no.
We have the curve, so we've got a rocker.
G's, a rocker
and stability.
Yeah. So you can go backwards. You can fall backwards with
but
G.
You can't go forward.
You can't go forward. So think about the 7 in that.
Uh-huh.
Falling into the past, remembering the past, thinking about the past, living in the past. 7s are notorious for that. A 7 who's unbalanced lives in the past. They focus on too much shit that went wrong in the past.
Yeah, living in the past.
Living in the past.
Okay, G, attracted to mysteries, artistic and creative, speaks little but says much. Ooh.
Because they're very good with their words still. Because they think before they speak. They're sort of that thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not just going to blurt everything out like the sea. They're going to think before they speak. So when they do finally speak. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's meaningful.
All right. Shadow side, more concerned with self than others, enjoys a preferred solitude, can be secretive, strong-willed, struggles with partnerships.
Because it's closed off, right?
Yeah.
Because it lives in the past. How do you have a relationship with somebody who is constantly arguing about bringing up old shit?
Yeah.
Who doesn't, like, they don't want to move forward. What do you do?
The thinking man, P, the thinking man tends to be spiritual. All the energy is in the head. Opinionated. This is our line.
It's
where
like a
we're-
body, yeah.
Yeah.
I think of it like if we were to draw it, it'd be like a circle with just a line. It's like a man's body or a person's body. No arms,
Mhm.
no legs. They're just all together. And then the head thinking. The head is the prominent part.
Open to the future. So we have all this openness here. Thoughts are food for the mind. So some attributes of this or themes around this, the P, lessons, I guess, maybe. Very intellectual.
When you have, these are the positive sides of it being in your name, right?
Mhm.
So you need information, you need new experiences, or you need new thoughts, and you need people who feed those thoughts.
So that sounds like learning. So they would be really, I mean, I know it's the thinking man, so that makes me think you're like a reader, a learner.
Yeah,
you know, like somebody who is
a researcher,
who is very, you know, always seeking knowledge, seeking knowledge.
They live in their head. I mean,
and very intellectual. So that's one of their positive traits. Kind of neutral or not, yes or not, positive, not negative. Needs is led by purpose.
Yeah.
You know, that can be
a detriment.
It can be a detriment, or
and that could be a huge positive to get people moving.
On the shadow side, needs stability between needs and wants, selfishness, and has a big head right there. Big head, big old head. And why?
Oh, crap.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, I have these.
Oh, okay.
They're ready.
Oh, okay. All right. Why? Jamie already showed you the why. I want you to show them again the why. You talk about the why for a minute. I'm gonna let Tank out.
Go see what. Tank needed something.
You want to go potty?
Okay.
You want outside?
I will point right here. This is Jamie's favorite letter, the Y. It just is, you guys. I'm biased for sure. But the Y is the receiver, and it's literally built like an antenna. Like, this is a person with the arms stretched open, like asking for a signal, asking for help, reaching to the stars, like, please send me something.
Come on,
go
outside.
Also, the Y looks like a divine rod,
okay,
right?
Then go lay down. Go on.
The rods that would seek out water. It's, you know, water would be considered with like emotion and creation.
Lay down then. He didn't have to go.
The arms being open receive messages from spirit. This is why I always talk to people with Y's in their name, because I'm like, ooh, do you know yet? Do you understand yet that you could be a messenger for anything? And it's not like you necessarily have to be psychic, but you could do automatic writing. You could be really good at tarot. It's all of the arts within the occult, because there's just a lesser barrier for people with a Y to sort of gain that information. They don't see it as weird since it's in their name. Which is funny because my husband is just finally opening up his spirituality after so many years on this earth. And he's uncomfortable with it because, you know, he's from a time and place that, like, no, you don't get into that shit. It's too woo-woo for him. But his Y in his name is undeniable. He knows. I think that's why he's really good with people, because he actually can feel things underlying, but he doesn't know that that's sort of like witchcraft. Like, I haven't explained that to him just yet. I just let him use his gifts and don't tell him what it is, so he's not uncomfortable. Using insight to create a purposeful life. That is why we do the receiving part. That's why we ask for messages. That's why we open up our arms and go, please give me a sign. I just want to know if I'm headed in the right direction. I just want to know that this is meant for me. You need that confirmation. You need that connection. You need to know that the things that you're doing actually have purpose. You don't want to be doing something that doesn't have purpose, or you're spinning your wheels, or you're giving into something that isn't actually good. That would be like the worst thing for a Y, is to do something and find out later that, like, the organization that you worked for abused children. That would be the worst for a Y. That would be just, because everything that you do needs to have this purpose that's almost like spiritual and divine, and like in a way that grows humanity versus for money or for whatever gains, right? So people with Y in their name often are mystical leaning people. Not always, sometimes. I mean, they can be religious. That's okay. You think of Mary from the Bible. Her name has a Y, and she's, you know, I mean, she was able to have a baby without having sex. Woohoo. Like, she's some kind of mystical, right? Being a deep thinker. That's because as you receive all of this, it literally channels down into one thing. So you've got this very fine point that all of your stuff is coming through onto earth. Like this is where the Play-Doh comes in, and then you've got one little way to like get it out of you. Automatic writing, tarot cards, being any kind of mystic that you can. Always looking for a meaning. Absolutely. When you've got all of this open to the spiritual side, you need to know that whatever you're doing with that on the earth side actually has meaning. You need peaceful surroundings. Why? Because you can't hear all of this if you are living in chaos. That's often where witches get very disconnected. If we're living in chaos, we feel really disconnected from our magic because you can't hear anything. You're not open to receive when the world is so loud around you. All right. Negative things. What? Not with why. There's no negative. I'm just going to cover that. Just kidding. Not good at decisions. Yeah. See this little three-way, like, where am I going? What way am I? Yeah. What do I do? Sometimes we're not good at decisions with a Y in our name because we're really waiting for it to align. We need to know that there's a connection before we make the decision. So we procrastinate. Procrastinate should have a fucking Y in it. I swear it should own a Y. Overthinks and doesn't act. Again, this is all the mental energy, spiritual energy up here, all up here. And then you've got like this one little bar where you have to make everything make sense. So when you overthink, you don't act. You just sit with it. I mean, that's sort of like not good with decisions. That's sort of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
yeah.
It doesn't say anything on here about time management, but if you struggle with that, same. I'm right there with you. So I'll just admit that. I don't know if it's a Y problem or a me problem. So that's the Y, the receiver. Open, asking for guidance. Oh, you wrote the little numbers on them in the corner.
Yeah, I did. So
How
we wouldn't get, in case we got them mixed up. I wanted to be able to put them back together really
How
quickly.
many 8 letters do you have in your name?
How many what?
H, Q, and Z. Do you have any?
H, Q, and Z?
No.
No.
You don't.
Mm-mm.
Gosh, I think of you more of headquarters too.
Why? Because I've always
You're
worked
so
in.
corporate, I guess.
Yeah,
Now.
I'm so corporate.
Yeah, it's not so. high
It's
school,
true.
it's
That's
so
what 30.
corporate.
That's what 30 years of working in the 30
In an
more
office.
than 30 years of working in the corporate world will do to you. Okay. Oh, before I show this. All right. So we're on 8. The number 8 and HQZ for headquarters, as Jamie was already saying, unemotional, all
This is-
business,
yeah.
no fun.
This is CEO energy. This is people who need to run shit and they don't need emotions clouding their judgment. They need facts, analytics. This would be our Virgo side, definitely. You know, I mean, these are people who really need just the facts. They need to analyze it. They need to know. They need to make decisions fast. And they're not emotional. So I find them harder to work with because I am so emotional, or I do rely on sort of my intuition more. And they're like, how do you know that? I'm like, I felt it. They're like, no, that's not real. I'm like, but it is. It's my feelings. Me as a Pisces.
Ooh, with the H, we're walking the tightrope. Oh,
Mhm.
goodness. Look at this. Here's your tightrope. It's also balanced. This is also a letter that if you folded it over, there's a
Either
mirror.
way, yeah, I did both lines.
Either way, yeah. Yeah. Either way you
Either
fold
way.
it.
Either
Oh,
way.
okay.
So seriously, it is literally like a tightrope no matter what you're like in every way. And think about the determination and the level-headedness you need to fucking walk a tightrope.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That
The
takes
focus.
the balance, the focus, the strength.
There's no
all the
emotion
things.
in that.
Yeah, no, it's
No.
all physical. It's all not physical. It is mental though. There's a lot of mental strength in that.
Well, that
To be able to
headquarters
be-
is CEO mental
Yeah.
energy. It's not emotional energy.
Right.
You're not feeling your way through. Well, you might be feeling your way through the rope, but I don't know. I haven't talked to any of the Belindas. What are the people who rock? We live in Sarasota area, so we definitely have those people that do all the circus stuff, but I've never talked to one of them. But I'm sure there's some emotion.
The tightrope, the
Yeah, the
circus
tightrope
folks?
family,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Anyway,
The trapeze and all
Random-
that stuff.
random facts, yeah. The tightrope there's a lot of focus. There is a lot of just like, again, you can't deal with bullshit and outside information. You need to be really sure about what's going on. You need to triple check your facts, what you're doing. That's the tightrope of the H for sure.
Mhm. Solid feet, though. I mean, just
Well, yeah, because
you
they
know,
have to know what they're doing, right? They
Yeah.
gotta feel like they're solid in their plan. It's just that these lines being closed on both sides, right? So
mhm.
this side is usually very opinionated, but this side is then like closed off to the future. So where they really live is right here in this space. And that could represent their head. That could represent like their idea of what is right. They believe that from here to here is a straight line. Not, I mean, I don't know about anybody else's life, but my life went like this. Like it went everywhere. Like they believe that their life's gonna be like just straight, and you know that's what they need to function.
On the positive side, for people with H in their name, a loving leader,
Oh yes,
good with money and materials. You would have to be a CEO, right, or to run things.
listen, you want that in a CEO, okay?
Yeah.
Hire Henry.
Oh, health is important.
Health
Okay,
is
is that
very
because
important.
that's
The
part of their
physical part. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They need a good sense of control, and balance is important, obviously, because without balance, they couldn't walk that tightrope.
Right. And balance is in the letter itself, where they can't be too much here, they can't be too much here, not here, not here. You know, it really balance within the letter. H needs balance.
Mm-hmm. On the shadow side, a terrible tyrant.
Like really bad, you guys, like abusive.
And really demanding.
Too demanding.
Absolutely.
Like unrealistic expectations.
Like I could almost envision this person as somebody that you would hate, which is interesting because of the H. You know, I think of like, ooh, that person is just awful. You know, if it's an awful person.
Hateful. I mean,
hateful,
when you
heinous.
Heinous. Oh Lord, heinous crimes.
Horrible.
Horrible bosses. Yeah.
Oh, the hellish.
Hellish.
I could go on and on.
Look at you.
All right. So hopefully your name's not Henry or Henrietta.
That's okay. There's a lot of letters to balance that out, though. It's like,
yeah, that's true.
If your name was just Hey, that would be harder, you know, like because you don't got. Well, it's got a Y in it. At least there's some kind of balance. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Q is. I literally call this the unique one. Nobody else calls Q the unique one.
What do they call it? Why do we have nothing? We have a circle and we have
the line, because I have no words for the unique one.
Oh.
I have no words. So the circle is sort of like the O, the circle, but it's not.
Right.
Because there is this cut through to it, right?
Right.
And there's no explanation as to why they did this. Like this is not, they just didn't know what else to do. Q and U used to go next to each other. And so like when they made up the Q, it was just out of necessity. And they were like, we don't really fucking know about you. Like it's not a lot of history on that.
So be quiet.
Quiet. Yeah.
But the unique one, because
the unique one.
Because we have, notice like every other letter, she's got this, that, and the other thing. And here we got nothing.
Nothing.
We got nothing. Okay. So
you don't need to call out my deficiencies. You want me to put something here?
I'm just what the fuck is that?
It has a tail.
Oh no,
so
just what we want is
it's like Shallow Hal when that weird dude has
Yes,
a tail.
that's exactly what came to my mind. Is Shallow Hal.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know, because of the tail.
The puppy dog tail.
Yes, Shallow Hal. That's a funny movie.
It's a great movie.
All right. So on the positive side, keeps positivity all around.
It does.
Is that what this is?
Yeah. Well, it's just that Q, it's not, it's unique. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
The unique one.
Yeah.
Queen starts with Q.
Oh, Queen. I like that.
Yeah.
A knack for making money.
Yep.
Loyal and sympathetic.
Oh, yes.
All or nothing, can go overboard in either direction.
Yeah. So that's what this uniqueness, because then now read these, because it's like almost the opposite. There's this trend of almost like it's like when we talked about the O, it's like all or nothing. It's in or out.
Mm-hmm.
This is not in or out. You actually have a little path where you can go back and forth between it.
Mm.
So you could be a tyrant queen, or you could be like a gracious queen, or,
a generous, giving queen.
Yeah. I mean,
okay. So on the shadow side, too negative, dangerously so.
Dangerously negative.
Dangerously negative.
In a way that gets people hurt. Yeah.
Often needs help, too much help.
Yeah.
What does that say? Pretend? Pretend?
Often needs help.
Too much.
Too much pretending. Oh Lord.
too much
Sorry.
pretending.
I don't
Okay.
know. What is this? I got one long fucking, I don't know what I
You
did.
put it in parens or something.
I did.
With quotes.
Quotes and then one parens and one quote up there. I don't know. I was getting sleepy, I guess.
That's okay.
Too much pretending is what I was thinking.
Okay, pretending.
So it's needing help, but here's the dangerous part of being this unique one, right? You like say this is your little quirky, like, oh no, I can't do this because I have a peg foot. You need to help me. But you're pretending because you can actually like run really fast. So it's like it's pretending, needs help too often. It's too much pretending to be something you're not. So you learn to be that squeaky wheel.
Loses itself in love.
Yeah, that's the deficiencies come because it attaches itself to an ideal. So like a queen, so you're almost like promised to a thing. You believe that you have, so positivity, all right, a knack for making money, you're loyal and sympathetic, but all of those things can get really mixed up when you fall in love, when you hold a position of power, when that's why it's very unique to find somebody who has the Q letter and then also is able to retain themselves as like their own person without attaching to anybody. How often do we find the Q separate from the U within our own language? I don't even know if there's any. When is the Q separate from the U in our own language?
Quick trip. No.
That sounds a
Q-tip.
Q-tip. Oh my God. I'm going to draw. That's what this is, you guys. This is the Q-tip entering in and out. Yeah.
But Q by itself, when you see Q by itself, you're like, question. The first thing you think is question.
It represents question, yeah.
So if you just saw Q and A.
Q&A.
So you can use Q by itself.
Yeah.
And Melissa wants to know why she doesn't have any Y's in her name, and she's going to have to find a way to squeeze one in there.
Hey, I will help you. I'm a master at that. Do you have any W's in your name, Melissa? I'll wait for her to respond, but
Melissa,
W's are like
I can't
Y's
remember
in some
Melissa's last. I know her last name's not Fauna, even though that's what it is. But
yeah.
Anyway, Melissa, you can tell us if you have any W's in your name.
Because W is another very spiritual letter.
Okay. All right. And the last letter under the number 8 is the Z, the analyzer.
The analyzer.
I mean, Z, it's even N. It's even N.
It's really hard to describe Z without using other Z words. Which
But
is
look
really
what it
fun.
is. It's an N. They're V's.
Mm-hmm.
They're N's. They're V's.
So it understands its unique nature. That's why it analyzes everything.
Analyzes everything, aims for perfection, because look how perfect that is.
Well, so when it aims for perfection, what I think of is like, it's like you start here. Let's check that one. Did we check over here? Did we go over there? You're like an investigator. It's almost like you're following the cues, like on a path. Not cues, clues. Lord have mercy.
But you're open to the past. You're open to the future. You have stability.
On.
You analyze everything.
You have the protection.
You have protection.
So it's not like your Z is not terrible.
Yeah.
Z is not terrible. Which is, it's not like N is terrible, but N has its challenges. But Z doesn't have the challenges like N does because it's on its side.
In control of the 5 senses. And why can you explain that?
Why? Well, it is the last letter in our alphabet. Okay. So being able to look back over all the other letters, it has gone through all the lessons. Okay. Because when we go to the 9 letters, there's only 2. There's I and R. Like this is the last of the 3 groupings. So Z is able to find that it has gone through all the things and it knows itself. Okay. But I mean, that's just if it's in balance, it knows it's in control of its 5 senses. When it's out of balance, it's
quick losses and mental strain that drains energy.
Yeah, because it's running all over the place. Right. So it's this squiggly, like. When I don't remember when you did the M, but I wrote in a little thing that almost looks like the Aquarius symbol,
Yeah, water.
So Z, there's these letters that have these same reoccurring themes in them where there's movement, where there's directness, where there's almost a path to be followed. And the mental energy drains with this because it's like zing, 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 right? Zing, 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 all over the place. So quick losses because it changes directions like the S, right? It switches fast. It's hard and sharp. It drops everything to switch. The S curves with it. So it can carry weight with it, but it still changes directions. Yeah. Control over the 5 senses. Yeah, I wish I had a better way to describe that. It's just, I think it's because it's the last letter. It's like, we own everything. We've been through all of it. We must.
All right, and we are on
Oh.
to the letters under the number 9. Are you ready to take over for me?
What? No, there's 2 left. Why would I do that? No,
Okay.
you're on it.
All right, and under the letter 9, which is 9 is the number of the humanitarian.
Humanitarian,
The
yeah.
humanitarian number.
It is, yeah.
And under those we have I and R.
And it means I am. You just
Which-
put I.
Yeah.
I
am.
am.
I am.
Not I am.
Oh, not I'm, but
Not
I
I
am.
am.
Okay. All right. The candle. The candle, the light within.
I love talking about the letter I.
Okay.
9. Oh, was that my cute little shit? All right, I set myself up. When people have the I in their name, it's so simple. It's not a complicated letter at all. I call it the candle, or I call it the light within, or I call it our spark in our heart, like anything that talks about having this central flame in your body that literally lights things up. There's a song, "This Little Light of Mine, I'm gonna let it shine." Yeah. Is that a Christian song purely?
I don't know.
I mean, I know it's sung in church, but is it just okay?
I don't
But anyways,
know. I think it's a kid's song. I'm
yeah,
not sure.
that song specifically reminds me of the letter I, because when you have the letter I in your name, it is your choice to let it shine or to not. And the lowercase I here looks like a candle. You see the little pillar with the flame, and you got the little pillar with the flame. So I wrote that on there so that you guys could remember it, because that's how I remember it. There's no mystery to this letter, honestly. The light within our souls, when somebody has an I in their name or many I's in their name, there is sparks in them that literally illuminate them. Okay. Like an eye can really show such brightness. That's all it represents. It's holding the candle to your heart. It's showing yourself when you're vulnerable. That's what I really does. Now, the negative side of I, too much into themselves. Okay, these are little arrogant fuckers sometimes. They like think too highly of themselves. Shit don't stink type people. But it's often because their mommies told them how special they were, and they just believe it in that way, that they're like very arrogant. It's not usually because something that they learned on their own or they think on their own. This is usually from outside influence. They're too steeped in their own self-interest. Like, I'm so special. I'm so perfect. I don't do any wrong. I. Exactly. I think I forgot to write perfectionism. That just says perfect. It has a negative. It's perfectionism. You can tell I got tired at the end of writing these out. Okay. Perfectionism, which is a detriment in perfectionism is like this false sense of being able to do the right thing so that nothing bad happens. Perfectionism is not a good trait, which I used to think it was, but that is what the I represents. When you have I's in your name, it's sort of like E. E is knowledge, expansion, and experiences. I is like the light within you, how you can shine bright, how you can stand up for things that are right, how you can literally hold that light in the dark for somebody else that you're trying to help. It's very simple. And yes, I didn't write anything around it besides that, because the little I means more than the big I. There's, if you wanted to get into like what this is how I always describe it, but this is the divine. You've got top and bottom, stable. I mean, you're open to front, you're open to past and future. Like there's openness.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what you make it. And these lines are littler than all the
Is
other lines.
that why you picked Isaiah for Cameron's middle name?
That, and because his Nana, who I highly respect, and she was very Christian, basically made me like choose it.
Oh, really?
She was like, well, because his dad's middle name is Matthew, which I think is biblical also.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to choose a Bible name.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
I know. Well, I folded. I caved. So I love Isaiah though. Isaiah means gift from God.
Mm-hmm.
So I was okay with that. It took me a long time because he almost had no middle name, because I was like, I'm not going to do this with you. But middle names are your secret self. They're the part of you that people don't know, and how you sometimes solve things without anybody else knowing them. So I gave my kid a middle name that has a lot of, it's like basically all vowels. There's an S and an H in it. Mm-hmm. So perseverance, and then also the headquarters thing. I do want him to be, smart. Okay. the last letter in this series, and then we're going to turn on our camera so you can see our faces because it still feels a little weird to just talk with my hands. This feels weird. R, the thinking man that rests. So you've got the P. This is a version of the P. The P is the thinking man, big head, body, right? R is the rest. All this means is that it's a leg that you rest on because you are not ready to act. It's like you still need time. You're the thinking man, but you still need time to like, this is why it's a detriment, because you have all the information and you've thought about it, but it's like you're still resting on this leg.
That's why it's a hard letter.
It's a hard letter.
Hard lessons with it.
It's a hard lesson because this letter is not about movement. This is about keeping you in the same place. And that is not how we grow. That is not how we evolve. So with R, again, these are at the very end of the cycle. These are 9 letters. These are humanitarian letters. They're meant to help us expand in our communities. This finds fulfillment when it awakens its spiritual self. So all my besties that have the R's in their names, which is most of them, the R represents finding fulfillment when you awaken your spiritual self. Well, all of you guys are already witches. You're doing a great job. You've already done it. You're great. You're already awakening your spiritual self. But you can keep refining that, right? Another R word, refining it. Keep revisiting things that will help grow that. So the re of everything, R-E, R. That's the resting man and the experiences. Those two together have us revisit, relearn, re-educate, redo. It's huge because all you're doing is trying to take a lesson and learn something else from it again. So the R's are all about that. It's like finding fulfillment as you explore your spiritual self. There's no positive. These are just the circles again.
Okay.
Because it could be seen, like some people are like, fuck that, I don't want to do that. It can be constructive or destructive energy, right? So you can decide how you want to react with this. You can be either. And either could be correct depending on what situation you're dealing with. I mean, sometimes you really need to act out and destroy some shit. And other times you need to be constructive and help somebody build something. Here's the only negative. Because this is a man who thinks a lot but is resting and doesn't do anything, a person, you grumble a lot maybe. You talk about all the unfairnesses and how shit didn't go right and blah, blah, blah. Like this is the same thing with sort of the T. It's like the woe is me a little bit. Both of which 2 of my favorite people are like T's and R's, where there's just, when you don't have that consistency, when things are not going your way, like, I've tried everything, I've done everything, like, why is this not working out for me? So there's a little grumbling, that's it. But that's because you're not moving forward. And that stagnant energy is really tough for something that's a 9 number that wants that humanitarian effort to like fix things and make things better. That is all our letters.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn us back on.
We're turning back on so you can see our faces now that you've watched us for an hour and a half.
And all of our hands.
And our hands.
Oh my gosh.
What is that thing there's something with the hands. Anyway.
What?
I don't know what I'm thinking of.
Oh.
Change our view so it's just us. They don't need to watch the table.
Hold on. I need to. Oh wait, hold on.
If you make it
this
small.
One,
there you go.
And this one.
No.
This one.
That one. There we go. Now make it big so we can see ourselves. Okay.
One day you won't even know that we're trying to learn how to switch between these things because we'll have that shit down.
This week I set up the restream and set the whole thing up because a week ago, we sat like for 4 hours on last Monday night, and figured out how to do this restream where we've got this camera here and stuff so you can see what we're trying to show you.
Close-ups,
close-ups. Like so.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a lot, you guys. Thank you for being with Melissa doesn't have any W's. My last name, she says, okay, so Melissa, no W's either. But her last name begins with R-E.
Oh.
Okay.
And
that is very accurate.
Well, then if your name doesn't show what you feel you are, especially that spiritual evolution and like knowing your purpose and really finding that power within, I bet your numerology chart does, which is what we're going to do. We have next week is going to be a grimoire one, right?
Next week's grimoire. Yeah.
And then we're going to start with the numerology one, which is going into a totally different thing. And I'm trying to think of the best way to get you guys. There's a chart that would be harder to see, but there's a chart. Yeah, that's very small. That I want you guys to have in front of you so you can fill this out, because this shit will blow your mind. Like, this is where true evolution is, not just for you, but your partner, if you have children, if you want to understand your parents better. Like, if you have somebody's, what all do we need? The full name, birth name,
Yeah, you
and date of birth.
You can maybe we can make
Yeah.
maybe we can create
I'm
that.
gonna put this in the description of the YouTube video, and you would just need to copy and paste it into a document. Unless I can put a link to a document in our Google Drive or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure out
We're
a
gonna
way.
figure it out.
We're gonna figure out a way to give you these. They're little like worksheets.
It's a
where you-
numerology chart that we're gonna be
Yeah.
like filling out and going through the things, because this is probably where I've done the most growth of me, like written in a fucking book. What? How do I exist in a book with numbers? Like, it's wild. But the accuracy is so on point that I've changed parts of myself. I was like, yeah, I can now, reading it about myself, I can admit to it and be like, yeah, I need to change that. I've maybe known that for a while. I've obviously not changed my procrastination in my whole 45 years that I've been alive, but I know it's there, and I just tell everybody, this is just what you can expect. You know, sometimes we can change shit. Sometimes we can just admit to it. I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
and sometimes it just takes a long time to finally give it up, because that's the stage that I'm at, where I'm like, okay, yeah, it's fine. I don't need to be so impatient anymore. I don't need to be so perfectionist. I don't,
we
just
both have
a lot of things that, I'm
Mhm.
at the point where I'm like, like it doesn't, I'm finally like okay with it all. Like, I'm fine.
I know I actually don't have anything that I want to change now. I just more make fun of little things that
But I
don't change.
But I do think, that
That's
the best thing that witchcraft and the practice of witchcraft and getting involved with it and all of the things that come with it, tarot, astrology, numerology, nature, gardens, all the things that I think about when I think about witchcraft, has really, really evolved me in the almost 7 years I've been here. What are you looking at, honey?
Well, my mic like buzzed at me. I wanted to make sure our audio
Okay,
didn't
we're-
cut out
yeah.
again. No, that's
Yeah.
all. We're good. It's totally fine. But
Okay.
I swear I felt that buzz, which was weird. So
Okay. Yeah, it's good to be where I'm at. I just
Yeah.
have to say, because my lessons to get here were really hard, and I was not a nice person for a lot of time, when I didn't need to be, but it was just like this protective thing. And now I'm sort of letting that fall away, and it's a beautiful experience.
yeah, I'm
I'm still getting them though. Even this week, I just have to sometimes
getting what? Getting opportunities.
get opportunities to learn and grow.
Mhm, mhm. Did their names begin with R? No, just kidding. I think one of my favorite parts of witchcraft is the fact that it is really about us and how much we want to do for ourselves. It's never about this like external thing where we're handing in sheets to be graded and saying, how well did I do? It's not that.
buddy.
It's actually
Hi, buddy.
how we perceive how we're doing and what we're growing and how we feel about ourselves, our experiences, and what we present to the world, and like how we interact with people. And and we can judge ourselves, not in a bad way, not in a harsh way, but as in, am I living up to my potential? Am I doing what I want for myself? I have one fucking life as this person now, because I do believe we have many lives here, but I'm just this Jamie, this one time in this time frame, all of that. I do believe that this is the one experience I have for this. And I want to live it to the best of my ability now.
And that's what we're here to try to help you do.
Yeah, that's why we're
And
going
thank
through
you-
numerology and
yeah,
letters and numbers
and all
and all
the
that
other things.
shit.
So we are almost 2 hours in. So I'm going to say, let's say
Yay.
good
Let's
night.
say good
Thank
night.
you for being with us.
Thank you
If
so
you're
much.
listening to this at sometime in the future, thank you if you made it all the way through. We hope you
I'll
got.
put in the description that there's a 30-minute recap.
Yeah, you could skip that
get
if
through
you
it
remember
fast,
it.
But we love you guys so much.
Tank is here. He always knows when
He
we're he's always waiting and knowing when we're wrapping
He
up.
knows
So
exactly.
he
There's like a
can
voice
tell
on or something.
time.
I
He can
said
tell
it.
time.
I
So
think he can tell our
he's
voices.
been coming out here for the last 30 or 40 minutes going like, it's time, I know.
Yeah.
So good night, witches. We love you.
We love you. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye. Wait, I'm not even ready to do that. I'm not ready for the vibes. enough, and I'm not even to the page where I can end anything. Okay,
Oh,
now it's the big bye. Now I can end it.